All right. Yeah. I'm looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Kansas City Chiefs. Why are the Kansas City Chiefs 0-16? Because they suck. Well, not really, but they won 4 Super Bowls with only 2 quarterbacks, and one of them's in the Hall of Fame. The New York Giants won 4 Super Bowls with 3 quarterbacks, none of them in the Hall of Fame. Kansas City, you suck. Not really, but it makes me laugh. Everybody's on the channel except for the Giants. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there, all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away, throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, try to respond to as fast as I can. So please feel free and fire away with the comments. But I mean, was also seriously, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So once again, please feel free, fire away with the comments. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level I got, it's called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe give this video a thumbs up or share this video. That would be freaking awesome. And then finally, also just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link. I'll go over that in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. I can't stand change. I'm too much of a moron to adapt, to to think and all that stuff, right? Just leave stuff alone. The one underneath it, right? It's Twitter. It's always been Twitter, and it will always be Twitter. I'm one of them. Get off my lawn! Old-time farts, right? Just leave stuff alone, right? It's a Twitter link, right? Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants me to call it, that's on you, bro. I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter. You know why? Because it's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff on my Twitter account every day. And then finally, the link on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I have internet access, I am putting stuff in this group darn near 365. We have over 8,500 members in the group, right? Like I said, it is doing fantastic. I put stuff in this group every day. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Football Giants information going in this group every day. It's the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, I mean, I wasn't there, but, all the stuff that I saw, really seemed to be, all that and a bag of Doritos. I mean, like the Night of Champions and all that stuff, and whatever they had, going on there. All this, it seemed like who's, Michael Strahan and like Carl Banks and Eli Manning and Lawrence Taylor and yada, yada, yada. All the, Bob Papa was there talking and I'm sure it was a special. I didn't want to go, but Sure was a very, 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 very special night. And, it's just, hey, man, the only, the 100th year only comes once. I mean, is it. Of course, the 200th year of the Giants football will be, it's going to come around 150. I'm sure that'll be a big one. I'll probably plan on being around for that one. I'm 60. I have to be 110 then. I might be pushing it a bit then. But, the 200th year of Giants football, I'm sure that'll be big too. But the 100th year, that's a huge one, right? And obviously, it's not like, this is the 100th year and then next year's the 100th year. And it just comes one time. It's huge. It's huge. And it's really, really nice too because a lot like we got, thank goodness we got the 4 Super Bowls, but so many big players, coaches and all, from the 4 Super Bowls are, still here with us, thankfully. Parcells and Coughlin, and of course, obviously Sims and Lawrence Taylor. I don't know if Jeff Hostetler was there, that I don't know. But, obviously Eli Manning and, everybody, Michael Strahan, Tuck, and just, my goodness. It's like who's who, so thankfully, we've won the Super Bowl, whatever, 96, 06, and in the past, 35 years, we won the 4 of them. So, Parcells starting to get up there. He's starting to, he's showing some age, and Coughlin's not a spring chicken either. So thankfully, both those guys, are still with us. Two, Parcells is in the Hall, and if Coughlin doesn't go in the Hall, that's an absolute atrocity. What? Because you look, he's got, he was a coordinator, right, with the Giants, when we won Super Bowl 25. So he's got 3 Super Bowl rings. But just what he did with the Jaguars. Took them to a couple championship games, took them to a championship game in their second season. Now, of course, it's not like, when the 1976, when the Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, came into existence, in 1960 when the Cowboys, or 61 when the Vikings, or we got 66 with the Falcons, 67 with the Saints. It's a little different time, and now it's like, you got to dish out some big bucks, so you get a little bit more in your brown, your Halloween trick or treat bag. When you fork out some money, you're giving a little bit better of a team. Unlike, as I said, the 0-11-1 Dallas Cowboys in 1960, or the 0-26, right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers from 76/77. So things are a little bit different. So when he took over with the, Carolina, Christ, they went to a championship game right away. They lost, Jaguars lost, but within like a couple of years, you got these 2 upstart teams, the Panthers and the Jaguars, going to championship games. It's like, these were expansion teams. What the is going on here? How are they making it? I got Carolina, expansion team, right? They're in a championship game. The Giants are like the doormats in the NFL. The Giants have been around for 3,000 years, and we're a freaking doormat. This team comes in. Carolina's been here for like 3 weeks, and they're in a championship game, right? So things a little bit there, Yeah, you got to put a little bit in perspective, but still, regardless, he took an expansion team in their second season. It's like unbelievable. So if he doesn't make it, that would be so it doesn't mean as a first timer or something like that. But if he don't make it in the Hall of Fame, and it's not even so much. It wasn't like we beat a crappy team. We beat one of the best teams of all time in Super Bowl 42. And then, of course, the rematch against arguably one of the greatest, if not, however you want to look at it, however you want to look at Belichick. Belichick did pretty good with the Browns. He had a nice little run there. Of course, then they moved to Baltimore, and he was canned. But of course, Belichick is a very good coach and all of that. But you gotta, you still gotta weigh it. Well, how much was it him? How much was it Brady? How much was it both? You know what I mean? I mean, you'll notice ever since Brady left, that the Patriots have kind of gone down the dumper, right? They don't have a quarterback. They're not doing very well, right? So, but but I'm saying, but we beat, Belichick 2 times. We beat the Patriots 2 times. We beat the Brady 2 times, right? And of course, then the 07. I mean, it's like So if Coughlin doesn't get into the forget, just knock the Hall of Fame down. It's a joke if Coughlin doesn't get in there. I'm not saying he's got to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He has to be in there in a second. Nah, but somewhere along the line, if you don't get in there, just knock the Hall of Fame down. Forget about it. It's a joke. You get out of here. You know what I mean? So, but just very, very spectacular night. I'm sure it was. And of course, there's a bunch of things that they went over. A couple of things. One was like the Hard Knocks, right? And Bowen was talking, right? And he kind of goes in there, and everybody's sitting around him, and he's like describing what type of player he wants, and hey, that's what these people are there for. I want this type of player. I want this. I want this. This player. I want this characteristic. This, and they go out and they find them for him, right? It's like with Bowen, it's not so much I want Aaron Donald. No, it's like this is the this is the characteristics I want from said ball, from such and such a ball player. I need that this guy, if he's going to be the outside linebacker, I need these characteristics. If he's going to be a guy, 3 technique or whatever, He did talk. It wasn't kind of interesting because he's talking about 3 guys, 3 defensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, 2 backers, and 4 in the secondary. So kind of makes you kind of wonder, what's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, I'm not sure if that's running downs. I mean, what if the other team puts 3 wide receivers on the field? I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, it's very, very interesting because one of my things is it talks about his defense, and then another thing is talks about his fondness, shall we say, for maybe Isaiah Simmons. I'm all for that, baby. I'm so glad they brought him back. Very, very, just another fantastic. I mean, you start looking at some of these players we got, I mean, you got Nubin as a 2nd rounder, right? Flat's an early round pick. Holmes is a 4th round pick. Phillips is a 3rd round pick. Banks is a 1st round pick, right? We got a Carrick, what a stud he is, but then we got freaking Banks, 1st round pick, Sexy Dexy, 1st round pick. They were picked right next to one another, right? Kayvon Thibodeau, 1st round pick. They got Isaiah Simmons going to be out there. He's a 1st round pick. So we got a lot of, we had Xavier McKinney, 2nd round pick. Obviously, the man made himself some money, but we replaced him with a 2nd round pick. So we got some guys here. So we got. I certainly don't want to say the other guys, but don't have any talent. But we have a lot of high draft capital on that. Maybe some, not all with the Giants, because obviously some. Like we brought a Carrick in, got Burns in here. But I mean, there's a lot of high draft capital on that defensive side. I'm not saying everybody's a 1st rounder or not like that, but and I said if next year maybe we can add another piece to the puzzle. Maybe I said if we can double dip it or something like that. Maybe add a nice little piece to the puzzle in free agency, and then round 1 or 2 we can add another piece to the puzzle. It could be a real nice defense. I'm not saying top 5, not like that, but it could be a very nice defense. Very, very nice defense. We got the 2 edge rushers, right? The question mark will be who's going to be next to Dexter Lawrence. So we got a question mark there, right? How's the safeties going to work out? Right? Is Pinnock and Nubin and Belton? Maybe Javarius Owens as well too. Is that adequate? Going to be adequate? We're going to need to upgrade that. Inside backers, I think we're good with, right? So, I think with the edge, we can certainly use, especially if this is going to be Azeez's last season, we need an edge rusher to back these guys up, right? We're going to need somebody next to Dexter Lawrence, right? And how's the cornerbacks? As I said, then the safeties. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe by the end of the season, we'll certainly have some answers. That's for sure. What do we need to upgrade next season? But we're getting there. And, I'm certainly not saying we won't have any holes. After next free agency and draft and all that. But we should be a little bit better than we are this year. Without question. But what I do like, it seemed to start out, but because the Dallas Cowboys, or shall I say the Dallas Cowgirls, are just such absolute bitches. Nabers, it seemed like anyway, was kind of talking about, I'm looking forward to going up against them. Diggs. And somehow, because Diggs is an absolute total moron, he took that personal. It's like, it should be compliment. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going up. Hey, that's good. Hey, it's going to be a good challenge for me. But somehow, because once again, morons, Diggs is a moron. He took that personal. Once again, because he's a stupid moron, he doesn't know what a compliment is because he's a moron. If you didn't understand me the first 32 times I said it. So apparently he took that, as like some kind of insult or something like that. So apparently they got, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. The thing is, one of the things that the Cowboys have had over us, is, oh, sorry, buddy. What's up, pal? I got you. Is, our offensive line play, newsflash, has not been stellar, right? Over the past, 314 years or so. And, that's where the Cowboys, like their defensive backs and all, that's where they benefit from. Not that they're Jesus Christ or nothing, not that they're the greatest things of all time, because they're not, but because of our shoddy offensive line play and because of their very good. I mean, with the way the defense was being called, obviously the stunts and twists, the defensive front that they have just gives the Giants problems all the time, and a lot of times the pressure, right? So, the quarterback can't stand in the pocket like every other normal quarterback can, for any length of time. And we get the pressure, and he got to dump something off really fast, right? So if a guy can read that, right, he just jumps the route, picks it off, maybe takes it back to the house or whatever, right? But if there's ever a point in time where we can stand in the pocket, right, and let the stuff flourish and develop and all of that, right? Imagine what a concept, right? The quarterback goes back in the pocket and the pass patterns can actually develop. Wow, what a concept, huh? Haven't had that for a while. But if there's ever a point in time when that happens, if we got Diggs on Nabers, I doubt if he's covering them. Matter of fact, there was one time that I saw. Oh, what's up, bud? I'm sorry, pal. I think it was the rookie. I think it was Tony's maybe rookie season. It might have been one of the games that he was actually healthy because, like, every time he'd run a pass pattern, he'd pull a hamstring or something like it. There was always something going wrong with that moron. But there was one time we played the Cowboys. I think it was in Dallas. Of course, we lost. But there was a camera on Tony, and I think Diggs was covering him. and they were like side by side, and Tony was out running. I don't know what pattern it was, but he took a step in, and Diggs, said, "Oh, I got him." So the camera, whatever the picture was like this, and all of a sudden, Tony steps in, right, and Diggs goes, and so Diggs is like, "Oh, he's going in." So Diggs just keeps like running. Well, Tony took one step in and then took another step out, and then before you know it, the camera's following Tony, right? And Tony's the only one in the picture. It's like, what happened to Diggs? Where did Diggs go? Diggs was like about 30 yards. He just burned him, annihilated him, toasted him. But of course, I don't know what the heck happened to the ball. I don't think it went to Tony, but it was just on that one play. It's like one, 2 steps, and he just. So I'm not worried about Diggs. If the other thing I am worried about is if once again, if we can't block anybody and our quarterback's getting annihilated every half a second that they get the ball, that's going to be a problem. But if there's ever a point in time, somewhere in the next 3,000 years, the Giants can actually stand back in the pocket and let stuff develop, right? And we have, like Robinson, Hyatt, and maybe Nabers and Slayton out there running their pass pattern, letting stuff develop. You're going to see some open receivers. Because we have some very good receivers that have a lot of speed, and Diggs is good, but I mean I've also seen him being burnt as well too. So I think Nabers is going to open up some eyes there, and I wouldn't be surprised if he burns. I hope he burns the liver crap out of that low life loser, because once again he's a moron. We just can't. It's unbelievable. Some people just can't take a compliment. It says Dallas Cowboys corner Trevon Diggs didn't like Nabers saying he's excited to face him. I mean, that's a compliment. But of course, once again, when you're an idiot like Trevon Diggs is, that causes a problem. So, let's see here. Nabers hasn't even made his NFL debut yet, and there's already been some beef between him and a division rival. Top cornerback Trevon Diggs will be seeing a lot of Nabers over the next few years, and they will play each other twice a season, but Diggs caught wind of Nabers' comments during the rookie premiere event in May, where he said he couldn't wait to see Diggs on the field. It's like iron sharpening iron, baby. Hey, you want to go up against the best, right? Well, Diggs reposted the video on X and followed up with a confident tweet. Let's see. Giants been getting belt for some years now, Diggs said, referencing a seat belt, which cornerbacks will normally do when they cover receivers well. Yeah, well, you won't be covering this guy well. I can promise you that. To Diggs' point, the Cowboys have owned the Giants for years now, winning 13 of the last 14 meetings. Yep. But Nabers doubled down on social media as well, reposting a video with a coffin emoji. Yeah, I like that, baby. I like that. I mean, the dude's got talent. All right, I'm not going to say he's the next Jerry Rice. He's going to be better than OBJ. Nothing like that. But the guy's special. Okay, and Trevon is not. Is not to me. He's not that special. He's a very good cornerback, but as I said, what he's been the beneficiary of has been obviously poor offensive line play, poor offensive play from the Giants. Right, quarterbacks having to get the ball out fast. Right, so. Nabers also furthered the beef with a since-deleted tweet with a picture of rap lyrics from NBA YoungBoy, which reads in part, "He tweeting and I see all that." I have no idea what the hell that means. Finally, Diggs reposted the video of Nabers at the event yet again, where he used a ninja emoji this time. Trash talk is nothing new in the NFL, especially between the players on either side of the line of scrimmage. However, Nabers is yet to establish himself in the NFL, while Diggs is among some of the best at his position after 4 seasons with the Cowboys. He got paid $97 million over the next 5 seasons for his efforts as well. But Nabers knows the Giants drafted him 6th overall because his skill set makes him an immediate impact player. He's clearly confident in his abilities. And perhaps that excitement to face Diggs is a nod to respect. Absolutely, dude. I mean, that's what it seemed like to me. I'm excited to face him. I'm excited to go up against, one of the best. I'm not saying he's the best. I don't care how many interceptions he has. One of the best. Iron, whatever they say, sharpens iron, right? Yeah, you want to go up against the best. What do you want to go up against? A kindergartner who you're going to catch every pass against? No. If you can get 100 yards against Diggs, guess what? You had a good game, right? Clearly, their statement wasn't taken that way. So, that's once again because I think Trevon Diggs is a moron. So, Giants and Cowboys fans will be keen to see what happens in Week 4 when these two rivals face off for the first time. So it's gonna, I think that's good. I like that. Gives you a little something extra, and it's not like it's not like Chase Cota shooting his mouth off. Man, I can't wait to go up against Trevon Diggs or something like that. Nah. We got to pick 6 here, right? Going out of his way. We've seen what some of the stuff he can do, and it's OTAs. I get that and all and everything, but it seems like he's going to be a pretty special talent here for the Giants. And I'm not overly thrilled with Trevon Diggs. Yeah, I mean he's very good, of course, but if we could have him go up against a good wide receiver, which we haven't had since, once again, we haven't had good offensive line play since Trevon Diggs has been on the Cowboys. We have not had a number 1 wide receiver since Trevon Diggs. Even sometimes when we maybe had a number 2, the guy's been hurt. So I mean, we've had shoddy offensive play, shoddy offensive line play, shoddy quarterback play at times. We had a 3rd-string quarterback last season. I mean, we have no number 1 wide receivers, and of course they're beating up on us. Yeah, so there's ever a point in time where we can actually get a full complement of good wide receivers on the field, good offensive line play, right? Because I think the Cowboys maybe took a little step back. I mean, they lost a bunch of guys. They didn't really bring in anybody that's spectacular, right? So if we can be functional on the offensive line, right, get Daniel Jones some time, right? I think, Diggs is gonna, Diggs will get his a little bit. I mean, once again, he's too good, to totally be, to get annihilated. That's for sure. He's too good of a cornerback for that. But I mean, as I said, some of the stuff I've seen is that he's been beat, and he can be beat. So you give him a good wide receiver like maybe a Malik Nabers in there, and quite possibly. So you tell me we got a chance, right? So so I'm anxious to see that. All right, then we got up next, Carolina. Now, why did they jump in front of the Giants at number 46? They moved up 1 spot ahead of the Giants in the draft to select Jonathan Brooks, the running back. Very interesting. After the departure of Pro Bowl running back Saquon Barkley this offseason, the Giants found themselves in a backfield dilemma. Joe Shane wasted no time in free agency, grabbing Devin Singletary. Still, the need for additional help in the backfield was a no-brainer, and the Giants knew that looking to the draft was their best option. The thing is, I don't know, were they going to, was he going to go out of his way and draft a running back in the 2nd round? I mean, because you can see with Dable, right? He wants us to be kind of like, a passing team, right? So he drafted a running back who was a wide receiver, right? We got lots of wide receivers, so he wants to pass the ball. So to take a 2nd round draft pick, and put it on a running back, I don't know about that. Let's see. After the initial round of the draft, in which the Giants obviously select before mentioned for whatever Mr. Nabers, right? Giants would have another opportunity to make a selection at number 47. So also that too, to go back to back offensive players, and actually a back-to-back offensive, like a wide receiver and a running back. I mean, not going after maybe a quarterback or maybe a tight end because we're losing Waller or somebody on the offensive line, But I mean, a lot of times, not all the time, a lot of times, maybe you draft an offensive player in the first round, while the second round you get a defensive player, or vice versa. First round you take the defensive stud, second round you take an offensive player, right? So that's where Newman, especially we lost, Xavier McKinney. That's where Newman made so much sense. We lost, look, we Landon Collins, second round of the 2015 draft, right? Then we took Xavier McKinney in the second round, right? We just lost him. We replaced him with another second round pick, right? And this Newman, once again, he hasn't gone on the field yet, taken official snap in training camp and not like that. But he could quite well be a bona fide starter for the Giants. Let's see here. So, the Giants had another opportunity to make a selection of 47. Many of the targeted players were still available at this point. Reports indicated the Giants held in high regard Tyler Newman from Minnesota and Jonathan Brooks from Texas. So, Brooks seemed like an enticing option with a need at running back. But we had a need at safety, too. That is until Carolina Panthers, whose general manager Dan Morgan worked alongside Shane in Buffalo, traded up with the Colts to pick the number 46, just one spot ahead of the Giants, to select the Texas running back. The Giants would select Newman with their next pick, who was a ball hawk safety in college and the replacement of another key free agent loss, Xavier McKinney. Reporters asked Shane about the possibility that the Panthers moved ahead of the Giants to snag Brooks following the conclusion of day 2 of the draft. And Shane said, "I'm not sure. I'm really tight with Dan. Dan Morgan is one of my best friends in the world. We didn't talk much about that," Shane told reporters following day 2 of the draft. "They called us as well. So it was like, hey, would you maybe want to move back?" And I think I said, I don't know if he just got antsy in some of those situations. It's not always just us. Maybe other teams are trying to trade up with the team from us. So you don't know when you find somebody you like and you want to go get them and they are within range. You try to pull the trigger. I'm not sure if he thought we might do that or not. So Carolina traded up to 46 to draft Jonathan Brooks, leapfrogging the Giants because the Giants had Brooks in for a 30 visit. So now there was a video. It says in the video above, released by the Panthers official website, Carolina admits moving up to jump the Giants because they felt New York was on Brooks. Brooks may have been a first-round pick if he hadn't suffered a torn ACL back in November against TCU. He maintained an average of 6.1 yards per carry, racking up 1,425 total yards and scoring 11 touchdowns in only 11 games for the Longhorns. Giants eventually drafted Tyrone Tracy Jr. from Purdue in the 5th round, 166th overall. Now, I'm sure, obviously, Jonathan, would have been an upgrade maybe over Tracy, but I don't know if the Giants were going to take back to back. We got Singletary. We had a bunch of other running backs in as well too, and once again they drafted Tracy as well too. So I don't know if they would have gone offensive weapon and another offensive weapon. I mean, that would have been while neglecting someone on the defense. I don't know about that. Newman made too much sense. I would much rather had Newman than to have hey, good running back. right? Good running back. But I would much rather have Nubin. Let's get somebody to maybe replace Xavier McKinney back there. And I think that's what we did. Somebody who's a lot cheaper, a lot younger. Well, not maybe a lot younger. Xavier, he's still a baby. That's what made him so attractive, right? I mean, you saw his body of work, okay, and he's still very, very young. One of the things I think it was Paul Dottino that kind of was bothering him was that with Xavier McKinney and I think it was Paul Dottino was bringing this up, is that you kind of noticed like in the first half of the season, like I think last year, I think he was pointing out, Xavier McKinney was maybe doing okay and all. Seemed like he was really kind of coming on in the second half. Sometimes, when you're having that, make or break salary season kind of, you're going to be a free agent. It's kind of like a boxer, right? Like it's a 3-round boxing match, right? And like maybe like Muhammad Ali, he get the rope-a-dope for the first 2.5 rounds. The guy would come in and rope-a-dope. Ali would be just rope-a-doping him, right? So the guy would be pounding away, right? So, oh man, this guy's, but he's not really inflicting much punishment or anything like that. So the guy's maybe getting some points or something like that, but he's just punching him in his shoulder, punching him in his arms, and not really inflicting a heck of a lot, But then the last 30 seconds, all of a sudden, Ali's, I guess, and bam, bam, boom, uppercut, and bam, and boom, and coming over like this. And it's like the last 30 seconds, that's what the round, that's what these judges remember. Oh, my God, Ali was unbelievable in that round. Did you see the flurry? They're forgetting the first 2.5 minutes of the fight where the round where Ali was like rope-a-doping it, right? They just remember the last 30 seconds whatever. Ali's just like dancing around and bam and jabbing and all the winding up and oh my God, Ali, what a man! It was kind of like I think Paul Dottino was kind of maybe pointing that out maybe a little bit, like where was he at the first half of the year or first whatever 4, 5, 6. Seemed like he was like trying to come on like at the end of the season, maybe make a big statement, or something, So how true that is, I don't know exactly, but I think Paul Dottino was pointing that out with Xavier McKinney. But I would much rather. I'm happy that they drafted Nubin. Because I like you lose somebody like Xavier McKinney. He's not the greatest safety in football, no doubt about it. But when he was on the Giants team, I'm very happy he's here. And if we re-signed him, I'd be very happy he was here. Because it's nice to have, that's the last line of defense. Especially if you get somebody, back there who's very good, maybe as a ball hawk or something like that, which hopefully seems like Nubin is, okay? But I'm very happy that we took Nubin in the second round, because now, it didn't work out with Xavier McKinney, didn't work out with Landon Collins. Maybe somewhere along the line we drafted cornerback, safety in the second round. You get him for 4 years and you keep him. What a concept that would be, right? Because we let Landon Collins go bye-bye, right? We drafted Xavier McKinney, let him go bye-bye. So somewhere along the line, it'd be nice to actually keep one of these guys one of these times. So but I think Nubin seems like just the stuff I'm hearing. He seems like he's going to be a good pickup for the Giants. Really, really good pickup for the Giants. All right, next up, how Shane Bowens' defense will be different from Wink Martindale. Wow, who is this? Who is this here? Is this the New York Post? Paul Schwartz. Well, some of them we can kind of figure this out here. There's been so much verbiage and conversation about what the Giants will not be on defense in 2024. They did not clearly surface as a dominating unit the past 2 years, but that was an established identity created by Wink Martindale's relentless inclination and dependency on creating discomfort with pressure packages filled with blitz after blitz. That will not be the Giants' calling card now that Shane Bowen is in charge of the defense. Right? All spring, That has been an acknowledged change as Bowens implemented the system he utilized the past 3 seasons with the Titans. And hey, that's fine. If that's his method of operation, if that's his MO, and it works, cool. Let's do it, baby. So much that when the Giants reconvened July 23rd at training camp, it would not be such a shock to see Bowen distribute less aggressive T-shirts to the guys who get paid to play on defense. There's also a picture here. Wink Martindale. Picture of Wink wearing his Michigan hat and a Michigan hooded sweatshirt. One look at Bowen's expression when this scenario was broached to him made it clear there will be no such shirts printed up. Yeah, I think there is a fine line between schematically aggressive and being play style aggressive, Bowen said quite succinctly. Like, the play style ain't going to change. We're going to be physical. We're going to be tough. We got a high standard for that. We turn the tape on. We want teams to see us flying around, hitting people, not turning down contact, which is something that Adoree Jackson did sometimes last year. Being decisive in our decisions, being aggressive with our breaks. There's a lot of aggressiveness outside of scheme as it relates to defensive football. Then with the scheme, we'll see. Still a work in progress. If you find a defensive coordinator who embraces a less aggressive label, check the employment status of that coordinator. Yeah, he's got a good point there. They all preached the need for their unit to inflict its will on the opponent, and Bowen is in lockstep with that thinking. It is how he plans to unleash it that will look much different than before. Martindale wanted to create chaos. Bowen is looking for more controlled mayhem. Wink kind of wanted you to play hard and fast. Inside linebacker Bobby Okereke said, just play physical, downhill, figure it out. Here, it's a process of elimination. If this guy goes vertical, you check 2. If 2 does this, you check 3. You kind of put it in buckets, and that's the process of decision making. Bowen is only 37 years old. First work with Mike Vrabel in 2012 on Urban Meyer's staff at Ohio State. What a loser, Urban Meyer. What a freaking joke that dude is. Vrabel later entrusted Bowen to run the Titans defense using a system that traces its roots to Vrabel and further back with Dean Pease and Bill Belichick. Giants head coach Brian Daboll did not previously work with Bowen, but he did work with Pease and Belichick and is highly familiar with that brand of defense from the extensive time at New England. The Titans in 2023 under Bowen blitzed just 22% of the time. Martindale blitzed 45% of the time last year. So basically, Wink blitzed twice as many times as what Bowen did last season with the Titans. Bowen last season had his defense in cover 4, essentially 4 deep zone, 23% of the defensive snaps. This will be a big change for the returning defensive backs who will be asked to play less man coverage. Probably playing not as aggressive. Second-year cornerback Deonte Banks said, it's still aggressive, but just not as aggressive. I guess a little bit more zone. I guess you could say that. Banks did say, I really still have the same responsibility. I'm still pressing, still up close on the guy. It doesn't really change that much. The more Banks learns and works in the system, the more he may notice the changes are significant. Bowen said he will demand that the defensive backs adapt to new marching orders, just in terms of vision and eyes and where they're looking. Bowen will ask his 4 defensive linemen to generate pressure on the opposing quarterback using their own physical force and talents. The expectation is Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns on the outside and Dexter Lawrence on the interior will be able to get the job done. Now, the thing is, who is going to be, the one next to Sexy Dexter? Who's going to be the one getting most of the time? Let's say if they can, the front four getting pressure. Bowens says if they cannot do that, then Bowens will call for pressures to form in the form of blitzes. Bowens is not much into calling. He's not much into calling in his defense, and he likely will be much less of a high-profile personality with the media and around the team facility as the colorful Martinez was in the 2 years with the Giants. Before an argument, obviously with Dable and all that. Bowen has a system, to be sure, but this is only a starting point and not a defining point. Ultimately, scheming for me is finding what fits our players best, Bowen said. We got to do a good job as a coaching staff figuring out that as we go along, as we've been finding through this spring, and we can evaluate and we get into training camp continuing that evaluation, something there that never really stops as we go throughout the season. It's always a learning process. One of the best things, obviously one thing I like is, sometimes it's like, this is what, sorry. This is what we're doing. Okay. We're blitzing, we're doing this, but if you can't do it, well, I guess we're screwed then. Now, what Bowen's like talking about is let's go along and let's see, right, what suits our players the best. Well, maybe this guy can't do this the best, so maybe we have to change and adapt as you go along, right? Instead of taking a square peg and trying to shove it in a round hole, right? If you got a square peg, let's look for a square hole, and right. Let's find what this guy does best, and get him in. And along those lines, that brings you to Isaiah Simmons. I'll tell you what, boy. They were talking about Hard Knocks. They played a little. It was like a 2-minute little clip of that there, and he was talking about Isaiah Simmons. And he's putting him in there quite possibly. He's a 3-down back. Wow, 3-down backer. Wow. Let's see here. Giants plot new position for former top 10 pick. Cool. I'm loving it, baby. Giants didn't get the most out of linebacker Isaiah Simmons after trading a 7th-round draft selection for the former top pick number 8 overall. Wow. We got him for a 7th-round pick. Wow. Yet things could be about to change for the better. Based on an exciting new position, the Giants are plotting to help unleash Simmons' hybrid talents on third downs. The money backer. It's a blueprint mapped out by new defensive coordinator Shane Bowen. A clip of the play caller explaining his plan for Simmons aired during the Giants 100 celebration on Thursday, June 20th. This clip will be part of the HBO Hard Knocks series focusing on the Giants' offseason and broadcasting in July. The footage, and that's coming out in a couple weeks. I think it was 4. I think it's 4. No, there might be 5 episodes. What the hell is it? It's every Tuesday of July? I think it is. Every Tuesday or every Thursday. But so basically, it's 5 shows. It's either every Tuesday in July or every Thursday in July. So it says today's what, the 21st, soon to be the 22nd. So it'll be out. It'll be out in a week and a half. Let's see here. The footage was relayed by a show in actions with Bowen explaining, in our minds, Simmons will be a 1st and 2nd down nickel and then playing the money backer on 3rd down. So he has, as where with what happened, what going on with Wink, right? He sometimes he'd have Isaiah, maybe it was just on 3rd down, or maybe just a 2nd down, pull him out on 3rd down or something. There was nothing, on an ongoing basis. Well, no, Simmons 1st and 2nd down. Simmons is in, no. But I'll tell you what, it seems like Bowens has some plans for him. So that's good. It's really, really good. It could quite possibly be the first time that Simmons be on a team, right, with the freakish talents that he has, Okay, well, he might have a defensive coordinator who'd be like, "No, dude, just stay on the field, dude. We'll find something for you to do." It ain't so. Let's see. Bowen assigned nickel duties to Simmons on early downs isn't a surprise, but the reference to a money roll is more intriguing. It could speak to a position made popular during the 2010s with Simmons' former team, the Arizona Cardinals. We got the new older or new again position could be the best way for the Giants to make full use of Simmons' athleticism in both phases of a defensive set to be very different in style to the schemes favored by Bowen's predecessor, Wink Martindale. Money roll is perfect for Isaiah Simmons. The Cards made Simmons the 8th player taken in the 2020 NFL draft after he played safety and linebacker for Clemson. Simmons has since translated his versatility to the pros with mixed success, but he has shown the flexibility to play inside and outside backer, safety, and even slot corner. All of those spots are useful in nickel sets, but Chris Flum of SB Nation's Big Blue View went into detail about what playing the money role might look like. The money or money backer position is a safety linebacker hybrid that was created by former Giants. Defensive coordinator. Remember him? James Betcher. Remember that? Oh my God. When he was with the Cardinals. He had success when he was with the Cardinals. I'll tell you what, then he came here and I'm not sure what went wrong there. The quick and dirty on it is that the money backer position was created when the Cardinals were forced to move safety Deion Buchanan into the second level to account for a depleted linebacker core. Said Buchanan was a safety playing linebacker whose greater speed and agility meant he was able to wreck plays from multiple sources. Let's see what we got here. And it says, play isn't too different from what Simmons did under Martindale last time. Simmons blitzed 45% of the times in the second most pressure-crazed defense in the NFL per Football Reference. So what Wink had him do was half the time he was on the field, Simmons blitzed. Right? While Simmons will likely be useful blitzing out of third down sub packages, the 25-year-old should expect extra coverage assignments in Bowen's more reactionary schemes. Shane Bowen plotting different style of defense for the Giants. Bowen has been heavily influenced by the New England Patriots coaching tree grown upon by Bill Belichick's brand of opponent-specific defense. That's what. Oh yeah. There's no cookie cutter with Belichick. Belichick's like, okay, who are we playing this week? Okay, let's take these guys. And okay, now let's see, what can we do again? There's no cookie cutter. So we're a 3-4 defense. That's what we're running against these guys. I don't care who they got, who they don't. I don't care. That's what we know. Everybody's different. And basically, a lot of times, what he likes to try to do is like, what do you do best? You run the ball the best. Well, we're going to eliminate the run. Do you throw the ball to this guy? Okay, we're going to eliminate this guy, right? So that's what Belichick, would like to do. It's a system based on finding the right equalizer for different challenging matchups each week. This is where Simmons' flexibility can be an asset for Bowen, using Simmons as a trailing coverage matchup able to spy a multi-purpose running back, jam or move tight end, or even stay with a slot receiver will help the Giants take away the X factor from any other teams. Simmons' ability to handle a roving coverage brief was obvious during his days with the Cardinals. Bowen putting Simmons in similar positions to keep opponents guessing about his post-snap responsibilities will add a layer of unpredictability without the Giants having to blitz as often as they did the last 2 years. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, putting him in, flexibility. I mean, he's tall enough, he can coverage. He can cover a tight end. He's fast enough and tall enough. He can cover it. Versatile, flexible enough to cover somebody in the slot. He can certainly carry a running back. He can send them. Right, versatile, flexible. So that's really the thing. Is that during what you listen to is during that the Hard Knocks that the video clip that was showing there. Bowen was talking. This is what we're going to have. We're going to have three defensive linemen, right? Three guys in the dirt, right? We're going to have two edge rushers, and we're going to have two linebackers. So that's 7 guys. We're going to have 4 guys. So it's like, so maybe, Isaiah Simmons obviously going to be one of those, an edge rusher, because you can always maybe move Kayvon in, maybe put him in, put his hand in the dirt, right? But maybe Simmons might be, on the strong side, maybe covering the tight end. He might be the edge, the end or edge rusher, whatever, there. Or maybe he can carry the running back out of the backfield, or maybe put him in, maybe he might be one of the linebackers, but he goes and covers the guy in the slot. Who knows? But that's what Bowen said in that meeting, right? So 3 defensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, 2 linebackers, and he said the linebackers, the interior linebackers, got to be the smartest guys on the field. So very, very interesting. Then also listen to quite possibly it might be Sam Darnold facing off against the New York Football Giants, because Greg Cosell said J.J. McCarthy is not ready to start for the Vikings week 1 versus the Giants. Sounds like Sam Darnold will start season opener at MetLife Stadium. So this, it goes either way. Just because McCarthy might be ready certainly does not mean he's going to put up 13 touchdown passes against the Giants in week 1. So, it might be, it almost might be a little bit of a bummer. You might almost want McCarthy in there. Yeah, see what the guy can do. Yeah. But it sounds like more and more sounds like the veteran Sam Darnold, right? He can, he can do some things, but he can also have some problems still. So, So the Giants, at home, right? They're gonna, their jerseys, right, at home, celebrating the 100th season, yada yada yada, and all. Going at home against the Minnesota Vikings, I think, would be an excellent way to start the season for the Giants. Doesn't mean if they lose, their season's over with, and let's just look toward it. Doesn't mean that. Any given Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day of the week we might wind up playing. Any team can beat any team. There's so much parity in this league. One bad call, one bad bounce of the ball here or there or whatever, and one team wins, the other one doesn't. So, but the Giants have a very good opportunity in their hands here to quite possibly start the season 1-0. But let's see. Rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy won't be the starting quarterback week 1 for the Vikings when they face the Giants, at least not if you believe well-connected NFL insider Greg Cosell. I think they know that McCarthy is not ready, Cosell said on the Ross Tucker podcast. Everybody I talked to knows McCarthy's not ready. He said, I would be very surprised if Darnold isn't the starter. I think they know McCarthy isn't ready, and everyone I talk to doesn't think McCarthy is ready. So Greg Cosell is not expecting to see the Vikings' first-round quarterback anytime soon. So apparently, he's got a little ways to go. So this could be a long season for the very, very long season for the Vikings. Certainly does not mean Darnold's going to, plummet to the abyss and be the worst quarterback of all time or nothing like that. But if hey, maybe in the right situation, maybe he flourishes. We'll have to wait and see. But they drafted a quarterback who's quite possibly not ready. Okay, it is what it is. First round pick. First year. If you're not ready, you're not ready. Okay. But, a quarterback who has had his struggles in the past, Sam Darnold, So it could be a long season for the Minnesota Vikings. We'll have to wait and see. But the Giants are going to get off to a 1-0 start. This is an excellent opportunity for them. Once again, any given Sunday. Right? The Giants don't come to play if they think their nice red jerseys are going to win the football game for them. They're sadly mistaken. A lot of parity in this league. A lot of parity. McCarthy had an inconsistent spring for the Vikings. The Athletic described it this way. Think of his first few months as your first few months taking a foreign language. Why rush? Why overreact? Show up, make mistakes, learn, then show up again. McCarthy also showed he has accuracy issues from the pitcher's mound. Ooh. Darnold failed with the Jets after being taken number 3 overall in 2018. He has been with the Carolina Panthers and the 49ers since his Jet days. He will return to MetLife Stadium in September, hoping to kickstart his career. So he's with the Jets, he's with the Panthers, with the 49ers. Now he's with the Vikings. So he's been with 4 teams in 7 years. So, once again, that doesn't mean that he will, he will plummet to the abyss and be the worst quarterback of all time this season. It doesn't, of course, it doesn't mean that. Give the dude, I can almost complete maybe passes to Justin Jefferson, right? So you give the guy maybe, if they can block, give him some time, right? Who knows? But sometimes there's also a reason why every year he's on a different team. Okay, if he was all that and a bag of Cheetos, right? He might be on a team for a couple consecutive years, but that's not happening. So we'll have to wait and see. But it doesn't look like the Giants will be going up against McCarthy week 1. So here's what it is. And then finally, also, hard to argue, right? Helmet Catch voted the best play in Giants history. Hard to argue with that one, all right? Giants held their Giants 100, a night with legends, at the theater at the Madison Square Garden on Thursday night to celebrate their century-long history as an NFL franchise. One of the features was revealing the greatest play in the team's history. No surprise here is David Terry's helmet catch in Super Bowl 42 is the runaway winner. Wow. Nice. It's also the combination too, right? It was that, but it was on the game-winning drive. I don't know what it was. 3 plays later, we scored the touchdown with Plexico burst in the corner of the end zone. But it was the Super Bowl. We beat a team that was 18-0, who were just killing people during the regular season. It was on the game-winning. It was everything all built into it. So really, was it the greatest play in Giants history? No. Was the greatest all-around effort in Giants? No. It was everything. It was that on the game-winning. Like I'm saying, like if he caught that, okay, in the first quarter, and the Giants, so he catches the ball, he lands at midfield, then the Giants 4 plays later are punting the ball, and the Patriots get it. We don't get no points at it. Was that the greatest play in Giants history? Even if it was in the Super Bowl? No. If he caught the ball week 4 against the Packers and we lost 31-3, was that the greatest play? No. So it was everything, right? It was that. It was the game on the game-winning drive, right? 3 plays later, it was in the Super Bowl against a team that was 18-0. It was everything. So, when you put all of that together, you can't argue with that. The greatest play. And to me, just real fast off the top of my head, that was for me anyway, just my time alive, because watching Giants football. Basically the 70s. You could just that I watched. You just take that, just throw all those games out from 70 to 79. Just take them all and just throw them out. So as far as great games in the 70s, once again, just take that, slice this 1970 to 1979, take that piece out of the lifeline there and just throw it out. The timeline, I'm sorry, just throw it out. So no games there. No. Great games, no. I mean, there was a couple exciting games in there, like when we finally beat the Redskins, to snap the 11-game winning streak they had against us, right? 1976. There's a lot of things, a lot of, cool games that, we won here, one there, but there was nothing in the 70s, nothing. To me, the best five, that just from me off the top of my head real fast, was the 81, the last game of the season, 81, when we beat the Cowboys in overtime 13-10. That was a Saturday game. We had to wait till Sunday to see if the Jets would beat the Packers. If the Jets beat the Packers, which they did, I think it was 27-3, the Giants made the playoffs. But we had to win that game to have a chance. And because you got to remember, I mean, from I'm watching football from 1970. 1970 and 1980, we're not in the playoffs, right? So we finally had a chance in 1981, right? And you got to realize too, right? I mean, we hadn't won a playoff game since like 58. We beat the Browns in the playoff game at Yankee Stadium in 58 to get to the 58 championship game. So we're going from 1959 to 1980. We hadn't won a playoff game. We've been in playoff games, right? We lost the 59 championship game, the 61, the 62, 63, the 58 championship game. We've been in some playoff championship games, but we lost them all. We hadn't won a playoff game since 58, right? But so for us Giant fans, from 1964 to 1980, the wilderness years, there was nothing. 2 winning seasons, no playoff appearances. We missed the playoffs by 1 game in 1970. We were 9-5. We lost the last game of the season at home at Yankee Stadium, 31-3 to the Rams. If we beat the Rams, we win the division, we go to the playoffs. But we lost that game. But from 64 to 80, it was nothing. 2 winning seasons. So when 81 rolled around and we got the Cowboys, it was windy out. It went to Giant Stadium, Lawrence Taylor's rookie season. The Cowboys couldn't do nothing. It was all basically up to Joe Danello. Could he finally make a field goal? Well, finally we got him. We got him in close enough and right in the center and all that, where he finally made a field goal. It was in overtime. The place was going freaking bananas. And then the Jets the next day beat the Packers, and we got to the playoffs. And we won. We ended up going to Veterans Stadium and beat the Eagles. But to me, so that game there, that's just the top 5, really fast off. That one, Super Bowl 42 and 46. They got to be up there. But then, the Super Bowl 21 when we beat the Broncos. I mean, of course, that was the first Super Bowl, but it wasn't like a nail biter. I mean, it wasn't halftime, but then we're winning 39-13. But it's like. It became a blowout. So to me, Super Bowl 42, Super Bowl 46, the last game of the season, 81, the overtime win against the Cowboys, 13-10, right? Then the other two were the back-to-back Jacks, the 1990 championship game, the Super Bowl, 1990 Super Bowl, or Super Bowl 25. Those are my top 5 games of all time. So the helmet catch, right? It's on the winning drive. I mean, who the frick catches a ball against a helmet? You got Rodney Harrison swiping at the. I don't know how he missed the ball, his head, how he missed all of that. I have no idea. But he has the ball in his head. He gets his shoulders touched down, so he's down. Get the ball, and he has possession of the ball, right? But as I said, it was on the winning drive. 3 plays later, we scored a go-ahead touchdown. We beat it. It was in the Super Bowl. We beat a team that was 18-0. It was all of that. I said, if that helmet catch happened in the first quarter of the Super Bowl, and we didn't score no points out of it, we had to kick a punt or something like that, would it be the greatest play in it? No. I said it was everything. It was the game. the winning drive, the catch against the team that was undefeated. So it was everything. So, you put all that stuff, I mean, Odell Beckham Jr.'s catch is better than that. I mean, come on. It's better than that. But Odell Beckham Jr.'s catch was in a losing cause. We didn't go to the playoffs that year. Why? Because we stunk. Yada, yada, yada. This, yeah. So, Odell Beckham Jr.'s catch was better. But the circumstances with the David Tyree catch, with the Super Bowl and all that, without question. I mean, that was, hard to argue that that's not the greatest catch or the greatest play in Giants history. And for me, I said it was in, just going back since I've been alive, just watching the game since 1970, right? That was in one of the greatest 5 games of all time. And of course, now one of the great 5 games, but it was in a Super Bowl too, on the game-winning drive. So, helmet catch. Way to go. Way to go. Gotta love it. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 10 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world. I mean, as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.